I'm Kristen from Tiny Footsteps Travel, and this week I'm going to show you how amazing the town of Killarney in Ireland is and all the things there are to do there. Killarney is a small town in southwest Ireland, and it's surrounded by mountain ranges and is the gateway to the Ring of Kerry, one of Ireland's most scenic drives. The number one most popular attraction in Killarney is Killarney National Park, and it has a few separate attractions right within the park. One of the main ones is Ross Castle. Ross Castle is a ruined castle that has been standing since the 1400s. It sits right on the shore of Lough Lean, where you can do boat cruises. So you can show up here and just visit the outside of the castle, or you can take a boat cruise as well. If you want to go inside the castle, the only way to do so right now is with a guided tour. They're not expensive, but they are about an hour long. We skipped it because we didn't think our kids would be as enthused. However, just exploring the outside of the castle is quite nice and definitely worth it. There are some inner courtyards and lookouts from above of the loch. If you want to book a boat cruise of the surrounding lake, the views are incredibly scenic, and you should book them online in advance to get a spot. Just Google Ross Castle boat tours or Killarney Lake tours to see options. The boat tours are usually about an hour long. What we did instead was hike around Ross Island. There are paths directly from Ross Castle that take you around Ross Island, and they have incredible views from the shores. To be honest, there wasn't even that many people on them, and it was such a lush, well-kept, and relaxing hike. There are different routes to choose from on the island. It's all very well marked and easy to follow. One of the routes is the copper mine route. It's about a 2K. Way back in the day, there were copper mines on the island, and you can still see some of them.
Hobbit. All right.
Nope. This is an old mine.
Because it is an old mine.
Once you get to the shorelines of the hike, the views are really pretty. One of the main lookouts is Governor's Point, which is also a part of the copper mine loop. Around this part of the lake is also where the Lough Lean boat cruises go. So this is the kind of panoramic views that you'd see from the boat tours that leave from Ross Castle. It was a very low-key day. We were actually surprised how few other people were out here with us. We just had a really chill time with our kids. For reference, this is a weekday in May. If lake and mountain views is what you're after, this is basically a Killarney money shot. The videos really don't do justice to how pretty it was and how peaceful it was to walk through here. Another thing to see in Killarney National Park is Muckross House. It's basically a Victorian home for Irish aristocrats from the 1800s. Similar to other castles or old houses, you can book a tour inside, or you can just do the gardens. There's also a farm, which ended up being one of our favorite memories from our whole trip to Ireland, and I'm going to show you that in a sec. I would definitely recommend at least the gardens at Muckross House. They're so lush and beautiful. And you also do have some lake views with the mountains in the background from here as well. So now I'm going to show you the farms on site Muckross House. And honestly, it felt like this was one of the most authentically Irish and meaningful experiences we had when we still talk about it a lot. The Muckross House farms show you what life was like in this part of Ireland in the pre-electricity age. The houses were so cozy. They really show you here how life was simple, but they had everything they needed. They have live actors pretending to be Irish people from that time, telling you about what they're doing and how they spend their day. This was an amazing experience for our kids, but there were many adults there too. They have a barn where you can meet some animals. But as you've seen, there are farm animals throughout, as they were a big part of Irish farming and livelihood in the Killarney Mountains at that time. Here's the thing you need to know about the farms though. We rushed through them because we'd waited all day for them to open and we had somewhere else to be. But this isn't something you should rush through. You can go on a deep exploration here. The houses are almost exact replicas of what they would have looked like at that time, and you can feel like you've been transported back in time. So I would budget for at least 2 hours just at the farm alone. That's what we had, and like I said, we felt rushed. So that means if you plan to tour the inside of Muckross House and explore the gardens as well, which are quite extensive, then you definitely need a full day just at Muckross House. People go to places like Adair, for example, and other small towns to see these thatched roofs, but here you get spoiled with them. It also rained pretty much all afternoon we were here, but there are so many places to duck into that it didn't really matter. They also provide a free shuttle that you can hop on and off, as it just keeps making rounds, so it saves a bit of walking for you if you have trouble walking or if it's pouring. Torc Waterfall is also inside Killarney National Park and is one of the main attractions in the area. You have to get here pretty early as the parking lot isn't very big, but it's a nice short hike towards the waterfall. You're walking along a stream the whole time. Muckross House and Torc Waterfall are both within Killarney National Park, but they're also on the road that can turn into the ring of Kerry Drive. They're both just a short minute drive from the main town, but I'm going to show you what you can see if you're willing to go just a little bit further. The first is Ladies View Lookout. It's only another 10 to 15 minutes drive from Torc Waterfall. And Ladies View is a money shot kind of place. You don't get views like this very often. We were lucky to just happen to be there when there was a rainbow. If you're willing to go a bit further, like about maybe an hour from Killarney Town Centre, there's some really interesting things to see down here. One of these is Staigue Fort, an Iron Age ring fort. We stumbled across this by accident because we were staying at an Airbnb nearby. And then just 20 minutes past the Staigue Fort is the Coomakista Pass, which is another one of my favorite views in all of Ireland. It's just a stop off the main road, but the photos we got are so worth it. Here's the thing, this entire Ring of Kerry loop can be driven in 3.5 hours, but there are so many possible stops, so if you look them up and realize you want to stop at all of them, then I recommend booking more nights in the area. But you could take a day from Killarney and drive this loop if you're willing to give it at least a full day, 6+ hours for the stops and the time to enjoy them. Which, by the way, is worth it because there's so much to see and experience here, even much more than what I've been able to. So I definitely recommend taking your time for County Kerry, for Killarney, and the Ring of Kerry. So let's talk about the town of Killarney and the town centre. Killarney is a very cute little town, very much worth walking around. It's very charming. There are a lot of alleyways with art. You should definitely devote some time to walking up and down the main strip and around town to the lesser known places. We tried not to eat out too much since we had a kitchen, but there was a delicious French bakery called Petite Delice, and the pastries are similar quality to what you'd find in France, plus it has a really cozy interior. We also loved this traditional Irish restaurant called Brechin. You definitely need to make reservations here because they fill up. The food was excellent and so was the service. Also near town, we went to a place called Killarney Riding Stables. They're on the Ring of Kerry and they do horseback riding out in the wilderness of Killarney. But for younger kids, they do pony rides, and this is what we did with our youngest. It was a great experience and they seemed to treat the horses very well. Right on the edge of town, where you can walk from the main street, there's St. Mary's Cathedral, which we didn't go inside, but apparently we missed out because it's supposed to be stunning on the inside. For those who might be curious where we stayed at Park Place Apartments, which had 3 bedrooms, and they were just a stone's throw from the main strip in Killarney. I hope you found my guide on Killarney helpful and that you have lots of new ideas of things to do. If you found this helpful,